Funeral Remembrance. A hate-fueled, blame-drenched farewell to Nebraska football. Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska, was a cauldron of rage and sorrow for the funeral of Nebraska football, killed on April 26, 2025, by the catastrophic Husker Games. The 20,000 fans, alumni, players, coaches, and administrators mourned a 135-year legacy but tore into each other with savage blame. Every speaker, bumbling ex-coaches, incompetent administrators, and a makeshift reverend, was a target, their failures fueling a vicious blame game. UNL's former president Ted Carter, dragged back as a stand-in reverend, because no real cleric would touch this mess, was roasted for his weak prayers and past leadership flops, hinting God might not forgive the guilty. The day was a hollow nod to tradition and a brutal clash of egos. With no 2026 spring game, red-white game, or any Husker plans, the Husker Games disaster too toxic to move forward. The air reeked of dread, mistrust, and a future as dead as the program. Under a grim May sky, the 2 p.m. service saw the stadium's sea of red dulled into a snarling mob. Scarlet balloons, meant to lift during a butchered Sweet Caroline, popped or sank, a sad mirror of the program's collapse. Ted Carter, UNL's ex-president turned fake reverend, bumbled his opening, whining, "Nebraska football was, ours, and you all screwed it up." He blamed the crowd's pathetic prayers for letting dark forces kill the program, adding, "I don't know if God's got forgiveness for you losers." Fans jeered, yelling that Carter's tenure as president laid the groundwork for this mess with his spineless oversight. "Pray harder, Ted," someone shouted, as others mocked his fake reverend act, noting no real pastor wanted this gig. Carter's sanctimonious dodge only stoked the fire. Former players, including Heisman winners Johnny Rodgers, Mike Rozier, and Eric Crouch, slogged through a half-assed procession, dumping a Huskers jersey beside a tacky wreath of cornstalks and battered footballs. Stadium screens replayed Bob Devaney's 1970 title, Tom Osborne's 1995 rout, and the 2001 Rose Bowl, but the 1994 Nebraska-Miami clip sparked fury. "You clowns ruined it." Fans glared at administrators, who ducked, while players sneered at coaches, past and present, for their endless failures. The speakers were a train wreck, each deflecting with desperate stupidity. Athletic director Troy Dannon, a walking catastrophe, whimpered about the Husker Games, a 7-on-7 farce with wing-eating contests that gutted Lincoln's economy by $4 to $8 million and 50,000 visitors. He blabbered about a 2026 revival, but blamed idiot predecessors, as if his own leadership wasn't a dumpster fire. Fans booed mercilessly. University president Jeffrey P. Gold, smug and useless, bragged about the program's $114.3 million impact while scolding fans for not torching the athletic department sooner. "You let it die," he snapped, ignoring his own role in backing terrible hires and gimmicks. Fans roared, "You're a fraud." Former athletic director Steve Peterson, foolishly thinking a funeral was a safe return, slunk in but was met with vicious hostility. Fans pelted him with insults. "You started this, Steve," blaming his 2000s tenure for firing Frank Solich and hiring disasters like Bill Callahan. Peterson tried to blend in, but the crowd's wrath was unrelenting, forcing him to cower in a corner. Governor Jim Pillen, a former player with zero brains, mumbled about grit, but trashed ex-coaches for doing nothing as the program sank. His speech was a political stunt, and fans groaned. Fan representative Sarah Jensen, a third-generation ticket holder, sobbed about tailgates but raged, calling administrators gutless morons and fans weak sheep for not rebelling earlier. Her rant flopped, some nodded, others yelled, "Pipe down, Sarah," as nobody wanted her shared guilt. Former coach Bill Callahan, dumb enough to show up, was booed off the stage before uttering a word. "Get lost, Bill," the crowd roared, still livid over his 2004 to 2007 train wreck tenure. Bo Pelini, back with a foul mouth and worse attitude, muttered curses. "F this, F that." To anyone nearby, his incoherent rants ignored as fans dismissed him as a loud-mouthed idiot. Scott Frost, predictably drunk, passed out by halftime, sprawled across a bleacher, too plastered to speak or notice the chaos. His 2018 to 2022 failures hung like a stench, fans muttering, "Typical Scott." Former coach Frank Solik's eulogy was a cowardly sidestep, droning about 5 national titles and 46 conference championships while ignoring his own firing and the chaos he seeded. He dodged his stale play calling that tanked the program and skipped mentioning current coach Matt Rhule, who's been a ghost since the Husker Games. Rhule, who took credit for the game's decisions despite input from others, hasn't been seen publicly since April 26, skipping the funeral to dodge the mob. Solik's weak, honor the legacy line drew shouts of, "You helped bury it." Former athletic director Trev Alberts, another fool who showed up, was a lightning rod. Fans raged that he hired Rhule, then bailed to Texas A&M before the Husker Games imploded, leaving the athletic department a chaotic mess, budget holes, bad contracts, and zero direction. "Trev sold us out," fans chanted, his betrayal a raw wound. The UNL marching band's "There is no place like Nebraska" was a shrill mess, wrong notes stoking fans' anger. Emily Chen's "Amazing Grace" was drowned by a fan yelling, "You all suck." A moment of silence at 3 p.m., marking the Husker Games wing-eating flop, was wrecked by coughs, shuffles, and glares at Dannon, Gold, and Peterson. The last tunnel walk, led by the 1995 championship team, was a disaster. Fans barely clapped, some screaming at players for not fighting sooner. A final balloon release was a joke, balloons snagging on railings or bursting, matching the day's dysfunction. Carter's closing benediction, "Good luck, you're screwed," bombed, met with jeers and mass walkouts. The Nebraska Union reception was a shouting pit amid dusty memorabilia. Fans cursed Dannon, Rhule, and Alberts. Coaches blamed Solik, Callahan, Frost, and Pelini. Administrators pointed at Peterson, Gold, and Carter's presidency. A $500 Husker athletic fund drive felt like a scam. Fans demanded to know where past millions went. On X, #HuskerForever was buried under #FireTheMole, with posts shredding Rhule, wherever he's hiding, Dannon, Gold, and Carter for praying like a chump. Local businesses, crushed by the economic hit, replayed old games in empty bars, owners cursing the university's moronic moves. Nebraska football's death on April 26, 2025, exposed a legacy of jobs, pride, and acclaim, all torched by a parade of clowns. Fans mourned a program that united Omaha to the Panhandle, but blame was universal. Rhule for his vanishing act, Frost for his drunken failures, Pelini for his useless cursing, Callahan for his ineptitude, Solik for his obsolescence, Alberts for his betrayal, Peterson for his disasters, Dannon and Gold for their greed, Carter for his weak prayers and worse leadership, and fans for their silence. The Husker Games were the final stab, but everyone wielded the knife. With no 2026 spring game, no red-white game, no plans at all, the Husker Games' failure too vile to overcome, Lincoln stares into a black void. Fear, rage, and guilt choke the city, every mourner drowning in shame and a future that feels as dead as the program.